Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm Lucy Gray, and I work part-time for the Charter for Compassion. Marilyn Turkovich, who's the executive director, ran my student teaching program gazillion years ago in Chicago. That's how I first knew her, and we've reconnected over the past few years because of my interest in global education. And I also run virtual events for other people and for myself, and hence we're doing a virtual event for the Charter. If you're not familiar with the charter, you're going to be by the end of this conference. It is a coalition of people and organizations across various sectors, including education, interfaith, business, the arts, you name it. That was started in 2009 as the wish of Karen Armstrong, who is a theologian and academic from the UK. She won the TED Prize that year. I think it was the first one, and she used her the prize from that to start the charter. And so it was a document. It is a document that was pulled together by religious leaders and others from all over the world, and hence this organization was born. So Marilyn Turkovich is the executive director. You'll hopefully get to meet her during the conference. She's an amazing human being. And there are other people that I work with at the charter too who are as equally as amazing. So we hope this will be an opportunity to get to know us a little bit and to share your work. The idea here is that we can all benefit from learning from each other across different sectors. There are very few opportunities to do that. It's also really hard to get people to travel different places, particularly the US right now. I think people probably are a little nervous about coming here if they want to go to a conference, and rightly so. And in this way, through a virtual event, we can save money, we can save on the impact on the environment, and we can hopefully create some opportunities for serendipitous connections so that you get to know other people who might benefit your work and that sort of thing. So we want you to be self-promotional and open to networking during this event. And I will give you a little bit more background on that as we get started. This is one of several that we've done, or I've done, um, over the last few weeks to kind of get people acclimated to the idea of this virtual conference. When I've done education ones, I'm active in ed tech, as Helen knows, and most ed tech people kind of get virtual presenting and that sort of thing. Um, so it hasn't necessarily been um, a hard sell to people, but because this is, I want to get rid of all this. Sorry. So it looks nice and clean. There we go. That's a little bit better. Maybe I need to go full screen. That might help. Um, so ed tech people kind of get the technology bit and in collaborating like this, but from other sectors, it may be, even though we went through the pandemic with a lot of virtual stuff, this kind of platform, Ring Central events, may be new to people, and the idea of presenting virtually may be a new and daunting thing for people. So we're here to help and support you as best we can. If you go into this cold, you will have problems. So, the fact that you're here tonight is a good thing because you'll get a sense of what you need to do to prepare. We don't want to make this totally laborious on you. We want it to be an easy experience, and hopefully the materials and the training we've put together will help you figure things out. So I've already told you who I am, and our mission here is to get you ready for the conference. And I've already told you about the charter, so we'll move on. Um, as you know, it's taking place in most time zones, May 14th and 15th. We're starting the platform is going to open at 9 a.m. Central Time, CDT in my time zone on May 14th. The live sessions are going to start 3 hours later. The reason being is that we want people to have time to come in, get used to things, look at the schedule, add things to their agenda. There'll be an orientation video people can view, that sort of thing. And then at noon, my time, we're kicking off with a keynote, an opening keynote. Jennifer Nadal from the UK And then we start right into the live sessions, and they're going to be going simultaneously. There's probably 3 to 5 an hour. From We have a lot of presentations. We have like maybe 80 at this point. That are ready to go. All of them are going to be recorded. So you don't have to stress out about if there's not 5 million people in your room, it's going to be recorded and people are going to come and look at it. Particularly because we're working across time zones, a lot of people come in afterwards and look at the recordings. They're not necessarily going to be there for the live thing. So don't fret about that if you don't have a lot of people in your room. We're doing our best to get people signed up. We hope that our presenters will also co-promote the conference to their networks, so that we can get as many people as we can into live sessions. Okay. So that's a little bit about what's going on with the conference and kind of an overview of it. So we hope that this will help you expand your network, and meet people that you otherwise would not meet. We hope that this will demonstrate your community impact and help you further your impact wherever you are, give you professional visibility, develop your presentation skills, and collaborate in terms of sharing knowledge. We think that this is the last 20 years or so that I've worked in educational technology, my network is really online. I have met people from all over the world. I've traveled to a lot of places where these people are. Um, and that's kind of the way of the future. And I think our people younger than I realize that we have to solve problems across borders. Um, and so we have to prepare, not only do we have to prepare younger generations, but we also have to prepare ourselves for a changing world. So this will give you some practice in that. There will be several different kinds of formats during the conference. There'll be keynotes. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. There'll be panel discussions that have been put together. There'll be interactive workshops, which are general sessions or presentations. There'll be short lightning talks. Some people are just doing 15-minute quickie things, which is great. And then we have some that have been recorded and will be uploaded, and then um, it's called Simulive. They'll be airing after US live sessions end. So about 9 o'clock my time on Wednesday, that's when these asynchronous ones are going to take place. And the videos were due today, so I've uploaded about 8 of them. And I'm scheduling them like 1 or 2 an hour until the next morning in my time zone. There will always be something going on, no matter what time you log into the platform. It may not necessarily be a live presentation. It may be a recorded one, but you'll see something and you can look at the recordings and that sort of thing. So that's how we accommodate time zones and how we work across the world. So there was kind of a timeline in terms of how you got here. Um, we're right now we're at the training session stage. That's kind of obvious at this point. You should have completed a presenter proposal and then got an acceptance email where you were directed to book your own session. We do that so that we don't have to do the scheduling ourselves, and you can pick a time that's convenient for you. And most everybody has done that. There are a couple I'm waiting on, but most are okay, are fine. Or you could have submitted an asynchronous video, and I would, as I mentioned before, I would schedule it to air during our asynchronous time. Um, so this was your checklist. Accept the invitation, create your presentation. You can get into the platform, and I'll show you how to do that soon, and update your personal profile in there. And then we need you to promote your session. So those are kind of the things that should be happening right now. In terms of preparing your slides, we don't have a template or anything. In other events I've done, we have provided a template. You should have an opening slide, though, that has your contact information on it so people can find you, particularly if they're watching this asynchronously. Um, the chat that goes along with your live session is not part of the recordings. So you want to have something in your slides that indicates how people can get hold of you. If you want to give a shout out to our sponsors, that's great. We have one major sponsor and another sponsor as well, who is a partner supporter. Our conference hashtag is either Compassionate Action 2025, which is really long, or you can do CAC 2025. Either one will work. But these are kind of the things that we hope that you'll see that you'll put on your opening slide. Not required, but just suggested. And then at the end of your presentation, you probably want to have, some sort of closing. Think of kind of a sandwich here, your opening and your closing. And we'd really like you to provide some action steps for people. Like if you want people to adopt your curriculum or adopt your model for, community action or whatever, tell them what you want them to do next. Do you want them to join your LinkedIn group, or do you want them to read an article, or whatever the actionable thing is? Consider putting something in there how they can take your ideas and implement them in their own context. There's also Q&A time. There's a Q&A tab in your session rooms where people can list their questions and you can answer questions then. Leave them with something more to keep the conversation going. You can also book meetings on our platform during the conference. There is a built-in meeting tool. So if somebody really wants to talk to you further, maybe you guys book a meeting later on and talk about your work or collaborations afterwards. So those are just some suggestions for your slides. Our platform is, and you don't have to have slides necessarily. Like I think there's one person who said they weren't going to have them. I have seen in person, actually a person who's a MacArthur Genius Fellow uh, and a tech guy give a speech at a conference that I ran in person and didn't use any slides. And he was so dynamic and great. He didn't really need them. He was a great storyteller. I do think it helps to give people a visual, and having some slides is helpful, particularly for those who are non-English speakers. Having some sort of kind of visual will help them understand what you're talking about. So I wouldn't necessarily bag the slides, but it's up to you how you want to do it. In the platform, there are some other things for interactivity. In your session rooms, you can share your screen and your slides. You can share a YouTube video. There's a chat and there's a Q&A section. You can create polls and poll your audience. And in session rooms, you can also do breakouts. So just kind of like it works very similar to like Zoom, and you can have people go into breakout rooms. Again, maybe that doesn't make sense if there's not 5 million people in your room, but that is an option. And Helen says that her dad only used a 3x5 card when presenting. Yeah, that's totally old school, and that still works as long as you get your information across, and um, that's what's compelling to people. I think is what you have to say, what that your personal experience is the added value to this. And there's nothing worse than somebody reading slides to you too. So you think of your slides as a prompt, in your presentation, like, in terms of things. You don't have to read everything to everyone. And I'm trying not to read everything to you right now. And by the way, I'm using something called Gamma for my slides right now. This is an AI tool that generates slides, and it's awesome. Haven't tried it in RingCentral. I think it would work. But it makes presenting a lot easier in general. Okay, so there are two different kinds of platforms in here. And this can be confusing to people who are new. There are stages which are more front-facing, not as collaborative spaces, just like you would think at a regular conference, or kind of where the muckety mucks are presenting. And they are so they're harder to use in the sense that there has to be an administrator behind in the backstage putting people on stage. Whereas session rooms, they're more kind of do it yourself. You go in and you'll be able to use the tools, and it will be an open room, and you don't necessarily need somebody, doing putting you on stage and that sort of thing. Session rooms are very much like a Zoom room. Again, you have breakouts, and I'm going to show you what they look like. So don't stress out too much about this. The stages will be manned by somebody from the charter, and this is just kind of a summary of what they do. I think the session rooms are more collaborative. They're more geared. If you're really interested in having a conversation with people, I think it's a better platform. If you want it to be more of a traditional presentation, we can turn your room into what's called a moderated room, which means that attendees cannot turn on their audio and video. They cannot turn on their camera and be on the stage with you. So if you want that, send me an email and I'll let you and I'll check that box in the back end for you. Um, right now they're set up to be open rooms. So that means uh and I just thought of something about this. I may have to make them moderated. Uh there is there so the I'm not sure if all the host controls that I'm going to show you show up for you if it's not a moderated room. So that's something I just thought of, and so maybe I will make them moderated. And if you don't want it moderated, then I can do the opposite and make it an open room. There are, and you'll see in a minute why I'm saying that. So the session rooms, people can turn on their camera and their audio, or they cannot, but they can still watch the room. They can still watch what's going on. And you have your own polling tool, your own chat, your own distinct Q&A tab that's not part of the event, of the larger event chat and that sort of thing. And I will show you this and it will make a lot more sense once you see it. Um, Everything starts recording automatically in session rooms too. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along. So you don't have to worry about starting something and ending something. If you do get in your room ahead of time, it helps if you leave and come back right before you're going to present so that we have a clean recording. It stops when you leave and starts up again when you come back in. So we'll get into that in a bit. You do want to use Edge, I guess Microsoft Edge or Chrome. In previous conferences we've had people using Firefox and it's been fine, but my understanding is that Firefox now may be a little bit of a problem. So I would stick with Chrome if I were you in general. You may want to have headphones or um, earbuds so that you don't get extra sound coming in. It helps with preventing echoing and that sort of thing. If you have another device open near you with the audio on, you are going to get feedback. So if you've done any presenting online or a Zoom conference, you may have run into that before. So just keep that in mind. You also might want to think about lighting and the position of your camera. As you can probably see, my glasses are reflecting the light that's there. If you have light that's more overhead, I think that cuts down on it. I have a ring light in front of me right now, and that kind of helps brighten things up a little bit. You don't have to run out and do that, but if you have that sort of thing, you can experiment with how it looks while you're on camera. Um, if you want to, if you have another device or a phone, you might want to have the conference, up and running on that device in case you need to switch to something else. It's not ideal to present from a phone or an iPad. I would not recommend that. But if you need to talk to somebody or communicate with us or whatever, having another device is handy. If there's an app in the Google Play Store and there's an app in the Apple App Store for Ring Central Events that will allow you to access the conference. I think it's kind of nice to have your phone and be in your session with that if you want to, because you can see the chat a little bit more easily. But it's not required by any means. Just something to think about as you're kind of thinking about the technical setup for your presentation. We recommend that you go in and practice tonight. Hopefully, I will get the links to you. I have to copy and paste them from the conference platform into a spreadsheet for everyone. Most of the rooms are built. I just have to do the copying and pasting. Um, you'll have a unique link that is only for you or your co-presenters that will allow you to get into the platform early and practice. So, and it will record, but we can tell the difference between your practicing and your actual presentations when we publish the recordings. So don't worry about that. But do be aware that we are recording. In case you want to make sure you're. I'm not going to watch everything, all the practice sessions or anything, but you just might want to be aware of that. It's important that you get in with enough time to feel relaxed and comfortable with the technology. So we really recommend you doing that. In terms of your presentation, make sure that you're engaging your audience. You may want to have people introduce themselves in the chat at the beginning so you have a sense of where people are. You may want to have some questions and then let people respond. And keep an eye on the chat in your room so that you have an idea of what people are saying. And I'll give you some tips for that. I am going to put some tips in general for presenting to non-English speakers and that sort of thing into our toolkit. And they're just suggestions. They're just some tips for making it a good experience for people. One of the things is one of the tips that I'm going to share is talking clearly, which I have to work on because I talk very fast, and pausing periodically for questions and that sort of thing. So there'll be lots in the toolkit for you to look at if you want to. You don't have to by any means. Again, we hope that you'll promote your session. The charter is off of Twitter now, understandably, but some people are still on there. The charter is also on Blue Sky. Their social media handles are posted in our toolkit if you feel like tagging them or reposting their stuff. We also have some ideas for there's kind of a social media toolkit. It's under promotions in the toolkit, with images that are in Canva that you can customize. And there's sample emails you can send to people, that sort of thing. And there are a couple press releases that we've issued in the past couple of weeks that you can share with others as well. When you're done presenting, we will download your recording. People can't download the videos from RingCentral events unless they're an admin. People can go back and view them in our replay section, but they can't download them. So we're going to download all of them, put them in a folder, and if you want a copy of your presentation, you can go grab it from this folder. It might take us a couple days to do that, so bear with us. Generally, we publish the videos as soon as we can within the platform so that people can watch them as soon as possible. It depends on how busy we are and how many people I have helping me. If we have to cut a video a lot because you recorded for an hour before your presentation started, it takes a while for those recordings to process, and we have to edit more, so that could take longer. So just keep that in mind, and we will try to have them to you as soon as possible. You also may want to follow up with attendees. Sometimes people share their email addresses and that sort of thing. And we recommend that you connect to a lot of people on LinkedIn. Most people are going to have LinkedIn in their profile as a speaker. And some people will have it on as in their personal profile. There are two different kinds of profiles for speakers. One is a speaker profile, which I built for you based on the information provided in your proposal. The other kind of profile is called your personal profile, and I have no idea why they're two different separate things. But the personal profile is more kind of in the platform, and when you join the platform, you're going to be prompted to fill out your profile, and we recommend that you do that. You have control over your personal profile. I have control over your speaker profile. If something needs to change in your speaker profile, just let me know and hopefully I can update it for you. So those are just some suggestions for following up and keeping the conversation going. During the conference, during live sessions, we will have a help desk room where you can come and get help. You can also, I don't have my phone with me, but There is a WhatsApp group that I'm using for just-in-time help as well for presenters. There's also a guide from Ring Central Events where you can search for answers, and you can also send them an email. They are, if it's usually during the daytime, US time, they usually are fairly responsive. They're not great on weekends. It used to be called Hopin, and Hopin was a European-based company. Ring Central bought it a couple years ago. And so I don't know if their team is in Europe and they're on European time or what, but there are ways for you to be able to contact them. If it's something super technical, you should go to them first before asking us for help, because I may not necessarily know how to help you. Um, the kinds of issues I've seen are getting audio to work. Sometimes leaving a room and coming back in solves the problem. Sometimes restarting your machine. Sometimes checking your settings to, what microphone on your computer is being used. There are a lot of different things that we can do to suggest fixing things. And we generally have not had a lot of issues with Ring Central events, and it's worked really well for most people. Um, if you want to schedule an appointment with me to go over anything in the next couple of weeks, we can try and do that. There are 130 presenters. So, if you're feeling not confident, definitely feel free to book an appointment with me, and I can give you my calendar information going forward. The conference website is changed from the charter's website to our splash page for Ring Central. We have a really detailed conference overview document, which may put you to sleep. And we had an initial information session when we started the conference process a while ago, and you're welcome to look at that if you feel compelled to do that. We think that this will create lasting impact, and we are grateful for you sharing your knowledge and inspiring others and helping to build a community around compassion. We think that this is the key to change and progress in light of some scary things that have been going on, and this is the path that we think is needed. So thank you for your commitment to this. Your presence and expertise and impact and community matter here. And we're really excited to have you part of this and hopefully get you more involved with the charter as well going forward. We also are going to be doing a youth conference in October, and our youth strategist, her name is Anam, will be talking about it at the conference. So this is not the last virtual thing that you'll see from us, but hopefully it will be a really great experience for you. I'm going to stop there and take some questions, and then I'm going to jump into the platform and show you that. Um, um, any questions so far? Anything that's not clear?
Yes, so you mentioned that you were going to send us the link to access the platform
Yes.
either like by later today, but we
Mhm.
can also access it like if we have a Mac, it's like also in the App Store that we can download the app for
Well, you're
RingCentral.
not, I don't, the conference is not live.
Okay.
So you have to have the link that I'm
Oh,
going to
got it.
send you to get into
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Um,
Thanks.
I may make it live for everyone in the next day or two. So people can get in there and explore. And Pearl, I don't have all your stuff set up yet because there was confusion about who was presenting with for you guys. So
Okay.
I'll take care of that tonight. Don't
All right.
don't stress out about that.
Okay, thank
And
you.
you just got married, so congratulations. I heard you were
Oh,
at your honeymoon.
oh, I was. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, where'd you go? Did you go somewhere fun?
Yeah, we took a road trip so I'm based in California, so
Yeah.
we just drove up the Central Coast. So we were in Big Sur, we were up in Santa Cruz for a little bit, and then Santa Barbara as well. And so that
Oh,
was
nice.
really beautiful.
I
Yeah.
bet. I bet. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Andrea, any questions, or are you good on everything so far?
I think I'm good on it, so I can go in there beforehand and get familiar with
Yeah.
everything. And
Yeah. 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 You're the coffee and
yeah,
chocolate person, right?
yeah,
Okay. Marilyn was talking about you, so I recognize your name. Okay. So let me show you what the platform looks like, and we can actually probably
Lucy,
get into it
I had
tonight.
I
Pardon
had a
me?
quick question. I had a
Yeah,
quick question.
go for it, Helen.
Um, I'm just doing a lightning talk.
Right.
and because I thought I better start small.
Yeah.
So will I introduce myself or will there be somebody to introduce me?
Yeah. Good question. You will introduce yourself.
Okay, so I don't have to
We're,
wait on
we're going to have
anybody. At my
people.
time, I just go.
Yeah, just go. Um, we we have the way that we've so most play and most the stages will have somebody that's probably introducing the stage people, but the session rooms, we will check on the rooms and make sure people are ready to go. And hopefully, and people may, and some of the people who are helping may stick around and be of assistance in the chat, but we don't have assigned moderators. When I do my global ed conference,
Okay.
we have volunteers that do that. Um, and it's nice to have somebody there to kind of hold your hand in case something goes wrong or whatever, but they're not necessarily needed.
Okay.
So we'll be checking on you, but we may not necessarily be there the whole time. And maybe next year we'll have we'll know what we're doing with volunteers with this conference.
Oh,
But you can just start, and if you go over,
everything's
it's not
great.
a
I
big,
just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
yeah. And if you go over, it's not a big deal either. Um, Most of the lightning sessions I've scheduled on the half hour, so
Oh,
so they're not starting at the same time as our 50-minute sessions.
okay.
And if you go, just try to end by the top of the hour so that people can go to the next session. That's the key. Nothing's going to cut you off if you go longer. It's not the end of the world.
Okay. Yeah, we
Okay.
tried that one time. We tried that one time in Chicago, remember? And people didn't want it. One more question. My understanding is that even though there's three people going at, one before me and one after,
Yeah.
this is my room
Yeah.
or are all three
It's
of us
your
in there?
room solely.
Okay. So if someone had a question and I'm supposed to be ending so that another person's lightning talk can start,
You're not
I
holding
could still
anybody
answer
up.
their question, not impose on. Yeah, okay. I didn't
You're
want to
not
impose on
you're
anybody.
not holding them up because nobody's reusing your room.
Okay, okay,
And it just means that somebody can't, if they're in your session and we want everybody to go to the next set of sessions,
right.
they're going to be late.
So maybe
So
I would say that and then just hang.
yeah,
Like we're gonna
yeah, just
end, you
yeah,
go to
yeah.
the
And if
next
you're only
session.
if you start right away, you'll be done at quarter of, and then the next set of sessions starts at the top of the hour, so you have a little bit of time to do Q&A.
Oh,
You can
smart.
also say, if you would like to talk, separately, let's set up an appointment to chat.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no, nobody's going to kick you out of the room. The recording is not going to stop. It's, until you leave the room, until everybody leaves the room. So don't stress out about it. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the front page of the conference. Right now it's tied to registering on the charter's website. They send me the list of new registrants and I add them periodically. When we get closer to the conference, people are going to be registering directly um, in Ring Central because then they can get into the conference immediately. And so we have everybody's information here that I've scheduled. And if it looks funny to you on your screen, it could be the resolution of your computer. I'm on a iMac or whatever right now, so it's a pretty big screen. But if it looks funny to you, it may be the resolution on your computer is set at a larger resolution. But everybody's information is here. If you don't like how your picture looks, like some of them are not super high quality, you can send me a new one and I'll put it up there. But you can get a sense of we have a really diverse, globally connected, intergenerational set of speakers. It's really exciting to see. Like in my global conferences, we get a pretty good variety of people, but this is like an amazing variety of people. So I'm really excited just to hear from everybody. So this is our website where people would go to register. You would also be able to get in here when the conference goes live, I believe. If you come to this front page, to this conference site, there'll be a little blue tab at the top that will say uh, enter now or something. And you can enter this way. Right now, it's not showing up because the conference is not live. So you can't get in unless I give you the magic link, and I will in a minute. So then the actual event looks like this. And to kind of get oriented, think of this in kind of a triptych. There are three parts. When you come in here, you'll probably see a screen like this, and you can create your profile and you may be able to preview the event. I'm not sure if that preview is available to everyone. It may be just me because I'm an admin, but you'll see something like this. Um, I'm going to go in and preview the event, and I've been working on it today and changing some of the colors and things like that to make it as user friendly as possible. But think of this as a triptych. There's kind of this left-hand side with buttons. There's this middle section, which is called the reception page. And on the right-hand side, there's a bunch of tools and chats and things like that on the right-hand side. This right-hand panel can be collapsed so that you have a more full screen effect. And you can always open it up back and forth. So on the left-hand side, these buttons will tell you different parts of will take you to different parts of the conference. This is the reception page, which has a description. It has the schedule, and the schedule is searchable, and you can filter by keywords and audience and whatever tags people put on their presentation. So if you're looking for all the sessions that are related to community organizers, then you click on that and it's just going to show you the ones that are targeted towards community organizers. So you can search and you can also filter the schedule. It will be in your time zone according to your computer settings. So if you're in Australia, it should show you in your time zone. It should not, right now it's showing you US Central Times. So it should be, it should be in sync with whatever your computer is set on in terms of time. So there's a schedule. There's also a listing of our sponsors and media partners, and you can click on here and go visit them. Some of them will also have booths in our expo, and they're just going to be booths that you can go and browse and maybe watch a video or a presentation from that particular sponsor. We're not doing a huge heavy duty expo, particularly. It's just going to be kind of a browsable space. Then speakers are listed here. If there's a blue icon, it means I haven't gotten a picture from them. And people can send me their picture and I can update it. I believe the whole profile is clickable once the event is live. People can click on your LinkedIn profile and your website and visit those resources as well. So everybody should be listed here as well as on the front page of the conference. And then if I want to go back up to the top, I can just click on the description or click on the reception button, and I'm back at the top. On the left-hand side underneath for the reception page is the stage. This is where keynotes will be. This is the front part of the stage. There's a special link for the people who are on stages that they'll be sent to get into their stage, to get backstage. And when you click on here, you'll see the presentation when it's live. And there'll be, if you look on the right-hand side and open up the thing here, there is a stage chat. So right now, this chat is just for people who are watching this particular presentation. And I highlighted it in yellow so that it would be really obvious to people. There's also an event chat, which is for the whole conference, and it's a great place to introduce yourself or to encourage people to come to your presentation or whatever. There's also a tab for your agenda. And we will recommend some sessions. We can do one per hour. That will show up in your agenda. But you can also bookmark sessions in the schedule and put them into your agenda if you want to, preview the schedule and decide which ones you're going to go to. And there's also a button here where you can add this to your Outlook or iCal or Google Calendar, if you want an additional reminder about a particular session. So I'll come back to that in a second, but I just wanted to point that out. So this is these are the stages, and we're going to have a couple different stages. I haven't set them up yet. Sessions are where most of the presentations are going. And what I've done is I've put a graphic in that shows the main theme that people chose. You can see that we have a help lounge right here, where we'll have somebody in there for people to drop in and ask questions during the whole conference, mostly when somebody's awake. So people can get to your session here, and it will show, it's going to show the sessions an hour before they are live. So you'll be able to see them here live. Otherwise, there are a lot of sessions to go through, but you can also get to them in the schedule. As a presenter, you can come in this way or on the link that I'm going to give you in this spreadsheet that allows you to come in early and have access to everything. So I'll show you what those will look like in a minute. The next area is speed networking. If you're when you create your personal profile, you'll indicate your interests and your roles, and this will match you with other people who want to meet others for a very short one-to-one video conference. And it's fun because I just did this. I ran an event a couple weeks ago, and I just did it and met a teacher who works on the NATO base in Belgium. And she was talking about how they have high schools from all over the world that are in this particular base, and students can choose which school they go to in high school, which I thought was kind of neat. And so we joined this like video conference and we chatted. We could extend the little chat, longer if we liked it. And we could also agree to exchange our contact information within speed networking. So if she wanted to connect to me on LinkedIn or send me an email, she could. And it worked really nicely. So if you do connect to somebody in here, those connections will pop up under this tab. People are kind of shy about doing this, but I encourage you to try it because it's really kind of fun. And you never know who you're going to meet. So there's also some recommended connections here. You can send people a message. I'm not going to I don't know Yoko, so I'm not going to send her a message, but you can also, down here is where you would type it. You can invite them to a video call. You can also schedule a meeting with them as well. And these three dots here let you request a meeting or again, invite to an instant video call. So there's some tools there. And you can also filter people by their role or their interests. So if you want to
Can I
find,
just ask,
yeah,
can I
go
just
ahead.
ask that the invite to video call, will that be a call within the platform?
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have to have like a separate Zoom or anything.
Right.
Isn't that cool?
It is.
Yeah, I think I really want people to take advantage of the meeting capabilities in here because I think they're really powerful. So especially like if it's during a time when there aren't a lot of live sessions, maybe you want to do your own meeting, you know? So please take advantage of them because we want you to meet as many people as you can. Um, and you can also filter people by interest. So if you're looking for people who have indicated that they're interested in the arts for social change, you can select that. And these are people who selected the arts for social change. And you could reach out to them. And some people you may look at their profile. So like this guy has a profile set up already. Um, you know, so you can see a little bit about him and then decide whether you want to meet him or not. Here's somebody who's into financial stuff. He's a serial entrepreneur. So that might be kind of cool if you're into technology. This is Anam, who is our global youth strategist, and she's awesome. She lives in Delhi. And if you're interested in youth work and collaborating with her in some way, send her a message. She would love to meet with you. Joanna is somebody that I've interacted with through ed tech. Um, this woman is an educator who is doing an asynchronous presentation. So anyway, there's um, lots of ways to kind of like browse and meet people. So, during the down times of the conference when live sessions aren't going on or during the 3 hours before the live sessions start, it's a good time to kind of go in here, research who's here and figure out how you're going to meet them. By
I'm
the
teaching
way,
a
well,
class now. I'm teaching a class now in art integration. So
yeah,
that Arts for Social Change is awesome. That's
yeah.
great.
So I don't know what these people's, role is in it. They're interested in it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're um doing a lot with it necessarily, but you have a shared interest at least. There is a
Yeah.
woman named she used to work for PBS here for the public broadcasting TV station,
Ah,
who is doing some art stuff, and I'm blanking on it. Her name's Kira. Let's see if I can find her
oh,
profile.
I was at PBS, I was at PBS for 15 years.
So you might know her.
Yeah.
Let me
So
find her.
yeah, that name sound Kira sounds there's only like one Kira, so
So I wonder
that's
if it's the
cool.
same Kira. So if I was going to try and find her, I would go up to here and type her name in, and she probably hasn't gotten in here to do her personal
Right, right,
profile yet.
right.
Oh, actually, I haven't added her yet because she's submitting an asynchronous video. So I've not added her as a speaker, I don't think. But let me see if I can find her in my email.
But
Um,
these presentations will be available a little bit after the conference too, right? So we
so
could
if
go
you're
and
a
take a look at
presenter
something we
or a
missed,
paid
maybe.
ticket
Yeah,
holder, they'll be open
yeah.
for an hour. I mean, not an hour,
Okay.
a year. Sorry, not an
Oh,
hour.
okay, okay.
The
That would be
free ticket
great.
holder people will not have access afterwards. Um, okay, so
So do we
Kira,
need
let's see if I can
access
find
to
her.
all that?
This is her name, Kira Carrillo Corser. Does that sound familiar?
No, but that, slept a little.
She's
I mean, there's a ton of people. She
yeah,
might not have,
she's doing something with, I'm sure she'll be around. Um, this is one of her projects. She is doing something
oh,
with
that's awesome.
I'm trying to think. She's doing something with like kind of like a pathway to peace kind of thing. It's a corridor,
Wow,
I think it's what it's called.
that
Um,
would be awesome.
let's see where that is. I don't know what, maybe it's postforpeaceandjustice.org. Anyway, this is her main website. I'll put it in the chat for you. And you can
Well, see,
probably see all of
in
her stuff here.
this class, I have an advocacy piece for the grad
Yeah.
students.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, maybe some of these people could be like guest speakers for your classes and that sort
right,
of thing.
right. That's what I was,
Yeah. So spend some time digging
even
around.
a like recorded interview if they don't have the.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You could also you know one of the things that we found with my global ed conferences was that a lot of teacher educators were using the recordings for their classes, and we never had expected that. It was amazing when we were first doing it. Now it's a little different because I don't know why. I think during the pandemic people stopped um, doing as much that way. But maybe they'll come back and do it. Anyway, let me keep going here and show you the rest of this, and
I'm
then because
sorry,
it's
I didn't mean to
no, it's all right.
digress there.
This is what this is for. Expo is where the booths will be for some of our sponsors. I don't know if they're going to use them or not. We're still waiting to see. Replay is going to be where recordings will be. So as soon as they're done processing, which takes a little bit of time, we'll have them here and published. The ones that are asynchronous are the ones that have been submitted are already uploaded, and I believe after they are shown live, or not, they're not shown live, but the recording is shown live, then they'll be available here as well. So those will be indefinite. The last thing I want to talk about is, before I get to the session room and show you that for a second. This is on the right-hand side, you have two tabs. I'm going to go back to the reception page just so I have a home base here. There's an event tab where there's a chat for the whole conference. There'll be polls that we'll post. You can see people in here as well and browse their profiles. Like this person, Elaine is supposed to be pretty well known for her trauma work. So you can read her bio and send her a message or connect to her on LinkedIn. If there's somebody that you come across that is bothering you or is acting inappropriately, you can always report them. And we've never had that happen. So I'm just telling you this as a precaution, just because we know there are a lot of nutty people out there these days. If you click on the three dots here to the right of somebody's name when you're looking at their profile, you can mute that person, you can block that
Oh.
person, and you can report that person. Any of those things. If you report them, I think I get notified and Ring Central does. So, we want to know if there's a problem. You can also send me a direct message up here under this little envelope if there's a problem or a question too. And I don't always see them right away, but I eventually I will see it. So just keep in mind that there's this event chat. If you're in a session room, there'll be another tab for your session or stage. And then the agenda tab is where things are bookmarked that you want to go to. How I do this is I'm going to go to the schedule, which is over here, and the schedule you can see, you can look at the whole thing or search or whatever, but there's a button over here that looks like a little ribbon, and
Oh.
you can add that session to your agenda. So when I click on that, it turns blue, and then it's added to my agenda over here so that I can remember I want to go to that particular one. And you can remove things from here. You can add it to your calendar if you want to. Um, if you want another reminder, that sort of thing. So just keep in mind that this agenda is kind of a place for you to bookmark sessions that you want to go to. Another tip about the schedule is it pops up to also like this. So if you want to see it while you're in another room, this will kind of be like a little, pop-up type of window. And it's the same kind of concept. You can search their tags and you can search by speaker. So here I can find Andrea's session right away by clicking on her name. Okay. And and people will be able to
Bless
get
you.
to this
Thank you.
when it's live. Okay, so I'm going to bookmark her session, and then there's those three dots there, and I can add her to Google Calendar if I want to. And I think you should be able to click on people's profiles too at some point, but I think because it's not live, you can't right now. But anyway, that's the right-hand side. The last thing I want to show you, and then we can call it a night, is what a session room looks like. So, and if you want to go into one and play around with it, you can, and I'll give you a link to it right now. Let me go into the back end and get one of the links. Sessions. I'm going to give you a link to the help lounge. Or actually I'll give you one for the sample session room. We'll go into that. So I'm going to go to that room. And I think this link will work for you. I could be wrong, but we'll try it. If you want to try it, you can see if that works for you. And when I come into this room, I want to preview the event. And you'll see that there is a main stage area in the middle. My icons for navigating are on the left, and I still have that space on the right for navigating. I now have, in addition to the event tab, I have my agenda, and now I have a session tab. So this is the chat for the session. Okay. And so people, when you're in the session tab, it's just going to be the chat, the polls, the people, and the Q&A for this room. Okay. And you'll see in the upper left-hand corner there, it says the title of this room. And so you can double check and make sure you're in the right room. And you'll see an eyeball that means one person is watching, is looking at this, is in this room right now. And that should show up for everybody. I could be wrong. When you want to present, right now, nothing is recording because I don't have my audio and my video on. But as soon as I turn my audio video on and join the stage,